a gentle guide for lasting peace. Have you ever held a sentence in your throat, something like, "I wish I hadn't said that," or "I should have been there"? That unfinished sentence can become a heavy companion. Today we'll look at why 3 small words, "I'm sorry," can loosen that weight and restore the warmth that family life is supposed to hold. This isn't about blame or lectures. It's a practical, kind, emotionally intelligent look at how apologies work, why they matter more as we grow older, and how to offer them in ways that actually heal. Point 1. Acknowledging the hurt. Why being seen matters. When someone says, "I'm sorry," the first thing it often does is acknowledge. It tells the other person, "I saw your pain and I accept that I caused it." Acknowledgement is the simplest medicine for a long simmering hurt. Without it, wounds stay raw because they feel invisible. Example story, Joan and her daughter. Joan criticized her daughter's parenting at a family dinner years ago. Her daughter went quiet and eventually visited less. Years later, Joan sat beside her, reached out and said slowly, "I judged you unfairly when your children were small. I can see how that hurt you and I'm sorry." Her daughter exhaled, tears came, and the distance between them began to narrow. The apology didn't erase the past, but it validated the daughter's experience, and that validation was the first healing breath. Practical takeaways. Use simple phrases that acknowledge the other person's feeling. "I can see how that hurt you. You were right to feel upset." Avoid, but, immediately after an apology. "I'm sorry, but." It minimizes the acknowledgement. If you can, name the action. "I'm sorry I raised my voice," is more concrete and healing than a vague, "sorry." Point 2. Rebuilding trust. Apologies are the first brick, not the whole house. Trust is rebuilt slowly. A sincere apology opens the door, but steady actions keep it open. People need to see you mean it, through consistent, thoughtful behavior. Example story, Richard and his son. Richard spent years questioning his son's career choices. When he finally said, "I'm sorry I made you feel like your work didn't matter," he followed up by showing interest in his son's projects, attending a small exhibition, and asking questions without judgment. Over months, the son began to relax. The apology was the start, the steady kindness that followed rebuilt trust. Practical takeaways. Pair words with small, repeatable actions. Show up, listen, follow through. Don't expect immediate trust. Accept that it may take weeks, months, or longer. Offer to be accountable in specific ways. "If I interrupt, please tell me. I'll try to listen fully." Point 3. Modeling humility for younger generations. Apologizing is a living lesson for younger family members. When children and grandchildren see adults owning mistakes, they learn that strength includes humility. Example story, Grandpa Tom and his grandson. Grandpa Tom missed his grandson's big game because he fell asleep after work. He called the next day, "I'm sorry I missed your game. I know how much it meant to you." His grandson listened, then said, "It's okay, Grandpa." Years later, that grandson learned to apologize frankly in his own friendships, because he had a real-life model of humility. Practical takeaways. Make your apology simple and visible when children are around. Teaching by example is powerful. You explain briefly why apologizing matters. "I say sorry because I want you to know how to make things right when you hurt someone." Encourage children to practice apologies in low-stakes moments so it becomes a natural response. Point 4. Breaking family patterns. How apologies interrupt silence and resentment. Many families operate on loops: silence after arguments, old jokes that cut, or long-held grudges. Apologies can break those loops by changing the pattern of interaction. Example story, Mary and Ann. Mary and Ann hadn't spoken in 5 years after a quarrel over their parents' will. The wider family felt the tension at every gathering. One evening, Mary texted, "I want to talk. I'm sorry for how I acted." That single, brave message changed the script. A conversation began, a hurt was named, and slowly other relatives felt permission to reconnect. Practical takeaways. Start small. If a full conversation feels impossible, send a short message or a letter. Avoid relitigating the whole past in the first apology. Name one harm and offer to listen to the rest later. If others resist, Stay steady. An apology can create a ripple effect even if not everyone responds immediately. Point 5. Healing the one who apologizes, letting go of guilt. We assume apologies are for the person hurt. They are, but they also free the person who apologizes. Carrying guilt isolates us. Offering a sincere apology lets us put a burden down. Example story, James' release. James had been hard on his wife during the early years of marriage. In his 70s he stood in the kitchen and said, "I've carried regret for years. I'm sorry for the ways I was unkind." His wife wept, but more importantly James described the moment as laying down a weight I'd carried for decades. He slept better, smiled more, and engaged more warmly with family. Practical takeaways. Recognize that offering an apology is also a self-care act. It clears the way for your own peace. If shame makes it hard to apologize, prepare what you'll say beforehand and practice with a friend or in private. Remember, apologizing is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of emotional maturity. Point 6. When forgiveness isn't immediate, or ever apologizing for your own sake. Sometimes the person we hurt won't, or can't, forgive. They may be too wounded, not ready, or have passed away. An apology can still be meaningful. It's honest, it leaves a better record, and it helps you move forward. Example story, a letter to a parent. Carla wrote a letter to her estranged father after he died. She acknowledged mistakes and wrote, "I'm sorry I held anger so long." She didn't expect a reply, but the act of writing softened her and allowed her to reconnect with other family members without the old bitterness. Practical takeaways. If face-to-face apology isn't possible, write a letter, record a voice note, or say the words in a quiet moment of reflection. Accept that you cannot control the other person's response. You control only your honesty and effort. Consider a small ritual for closure, folding the letter into a keepsake box, or reading it aloud to yourself or a trusted friend. Point 7. Practical elements of an effective apology. What to say and how to act. A good apology has clear parts. Acknowledge the harm, take responsibility, express remorse, offer repair, and commit to change. Saying all 5 doesn't have to be long. It needs to be sincere. Simple apology formulas you can adapt. For a small hurt, "I'm sorry I..." specific action. "I didn't mean to hurt you." For deeper wounds, "I was wrong to..." specific action. "I understand how that affected you, and I'm truly sorry. If you're open to it, I'd like to make amends by..." specific action. If you don't know what would help, "I'm sorry. I want to understand what would help you feel safer with me." Practical do's and don'ts. Do, be specific, be brief, and show readiness to listen. Don't deflect, minimize, or add excuses right after the apology. "I'm sorry, but..." weakens the message. Do, follow through. A promise without action damages credibility. Don't demand forgiveness. Give the other person time and space. Overcoming common blocks, pride, fear, and shame. Pride. Remind yourself what matters most, the relationship or being right. Small acts of humility often win greater rewards. Fear. Rehearse the apology out loud to calm nerves. Start with a short, honest sentence. Shame. Remember, shame says you're unworthy. Apology says you're responsible and willing to grow. Practical exercise. A 6-minute apology practice. Sit quietly for 1 minute and breathe. Spend 2 minutes listing specifically what you regret. Be concrete. Spend 2 minutes writing a short apology script using one of the formulas above. Keep it 1 to 3 sentences. Spend 1 minute imagining the person receiving it and your hope for next steps, listening, talking, or time apart. Point 8. What to do if an apology is rejected or ignored. An unwanted apology can hurt. If your apology is rejected, stay calm and resist arguing. Acknowledge their feelings and leave the door open. Example, "I'm sorry you're not ready. I respect that, and I'm here if you want to talk later." Practical steps after rejection. Give space. Don't push. Respect their boundary. Keep your behavior steady and kind. Actions matter more than words now. Reconnect gently later with a simple check-in. I'm still thinking of you and would welcome a conversation if and when you are ready. Saying, I'm sorry, is both brave and gentle. It shows you value the relationship more than your pride. It starts conversations, models healthy behavior for younger family members, and frees you from burdens you don't need to carry into the next stage of life. If one of the stories today resonated with you, consider taking a small step this week. Write a short apology, make a call, or send a message. Questions for reflection. Try answering one in the comments. Who is one person you've been thinking of while listening? What is the smallest first step you could take toward them this week? What scares you most about saying, I'm sorry, and what might help you move past that fear? If this touched you, please leave a comment and share your experience. If you found this helpful, like the video, subscribe for more gentle, practical guidance, and share this with someone who might need encouragement to begin. Small acts of courage, 3 words at a time, can bring a whole family back to warmth.